at the end of A New Hope, Chewbacca was instrumental in helping Han Solo and Luke Skywalker destroy the Death Star. At the medal ceremony, Luke and Han were each given medals, while Chewbacca was not. Why was Chewbacca omitted? I'll tell you one thing. This medal was gifted to me for my 55th birthday. Medals are earned, not gifted. And as such, I do not deserve this medal, especially after what I'm about to tell you. Hey Star Wars fans, welcome back to another video from All Things Star Wars Considered. As always, I'm your host Doug, and today I turned 55. My buddy George gave me the ceremonial medal that was awarded to Han Solo and Luke Skywalker after the Battle of Yavin. Am I worthy of this medal? I say no. And if you want to know why, you're just going to have to stick around to find out. Before we get started, we're going to have to take care of something. I am not worthy of this medal. You're probably going, why? Well, people always comment on my videos. People always comment about me and they say, the reason they like my videos is because I'm real. There's no BS. Well, I'm going to really prove to you guys today why I'm real and that there's no BS. I always talk about good collecting stories. I always talk about the funny collecting stories. Today, we're going to talk about the bad collecting stories. And before you ask, no, it's not about going into a store and striking out. It's about something much worse. Okay, let's get into this. This one isn't one of my favorite stories, and when it's all said and done, you'll know why. But obviously, you know my backstory a little bit, how I started collecting late. I didn't start buying figures and playing with figures late. I just started collecting late. Now, when Star Wars, or New Hope, as we know it now, came out in 77, the figures were released in 78. And obviously, me and my brother collected all the figures. We collected all the Cantina figures when the next wave came out and the droids and all that stuff. And when Empire came out, we also collected those. But collecting is a bad choice of words here because there was no collecting then. It was buy the figures, pull them out of the packages, play with them, lose the accessories, damage them, paint loss, loose limbs, the whole 9 yards. So Return of the Jedi is released in 1983. 17 figures are released on top of the already 48 that were already available. And you're talking about 65 figures that were available in 1983. And I am starting from square one. Yes. Well, as you can imagine, when you're not of working age and you have all these figures to purchase, things get a little dicey, a little bit suspect, a little bit not on the up and up. You can see where I'm going with this, right? All right. I'm not proud to say that I had to collect these things double time, double speed. And yeah, they were only $3 a piece. But when you don't have a job and all you're relying on is just money from birthdays and, I don't know what else, how do you get money when you're a little kid? And that's a cop-out. I wasn't a little kid. I was a teenager. By the time Return of the Jedi came out, I was 13 or 14. So I wasn't a little kid, but you're not exactly going out and earning your keep. So the money you get from birthdays go towards Star Wars figures. And yeah, they're only $3 a piece, but that'll only go so far. So I start collecting and I start collecting and I start collecting and I'm doing pretty well, And then I start running out of money and the figures are still coming out and I'm trying to pick up A New Hope figures and I'm trying to pick up Empire Strikes Back figures. And before long, I get in over my head. And the 5-finger discount becomes something of a thing. And I'm not proud to say that I partook. Well, let's not go too deep into this, but let's just talk about the day the music died. The old song, "The Day the Music Died." Well, okay, let's set the stage for you. I have that heavy sigh. Yes, I know. It's like the sigh I had after I put together the Jazzwares Death Star playset. This is a different sigh, though. This is not one of my finer moments. I'm not proud. It's kind of something that kind of humbles you. But a buddy of mine, him and I drove our bikes to the next town over. We weren't little kids. We were 14. He was probably 15. I might have been 13. He might have been 14. Somewhere in that ballpark. We were old enough to know better. But we drove to a store called Ann and Hope. We walked into the store. They had just stocked a bunch of figures. But the figures that they had stocked were not Return of the Jedi figures. Those were in abundance. You know, I think at this point I had the bulk of them. You know, at least what had been released to that point. But back then, you know, it wasn't impossible to get A New Hope figures. It wasn't impossible to get Empire Strikes Back figures. But they weren't released fast and furious. You know, you could walk into a Child World or a KB Toys or Zare or Caldor or Bradley's and find these figures on the pegs. But they were few and far between. So we walked into this Ann and Hope store, and lo and behold, they had just stocked a bunch of figures. And I'm looking through all the pegs, and they have 2 figures, older figures, that I need. And guess what? I only have money for one. They have Hammerhead, and they have a Tusken Raider figure. So, stupid me, I should have just bought one, went back home, maybe asked my mom, "Okay, can you bring me to the store so I can pick up this other figure that I need?" But I panicked. I was afraid that I'd buy one, come back later on with the money, only for that figure to be gone. And it's not like there was multiples. There was one each. So I made the decision. I'm going to purchase the Tusken Raider. And I'm going to 5-finger discount the Hammerhead. Well, I put the Hammerhead down my pants. And out the store, I purchased the Tusken Raider, and then we walked out the door. Of course, who's out there? Somebody from security, and he approaches me, and he says, "I know that you took the figure, so let's go." And I go, "I didn't take anything." And he goes, "We've got you on camera. We know you got the figure. It's a down your pants, let's go." So I pull the Hammerhead out, and back to the security office we go. They call my mom. My mom comes down. The look of just shame she had on her face when she walked in. She looked at me like, "I can't believe you've done this." She didn't say it, but it was on her face. So they say they're not going to press charges. I'm not allowed in the store for a year. And I've got my bike. So it's not like my mom can even throw the bike in the car and drive me home. So she says, "I'll see you back at home." So me and my buddy drive our bikes back home. And the whole 10 miles we're driving, I'm talking to him about it. And I'm going, "Oh man, I am busted." And I'm saying, I hope and I pray that she doesn't tell my dad, because my dad will beat my butt. I get home. She grounds me for 6 weeks. I beg her not to tell my dad. She agrees. Fast forward. Well, actually, let's not. Yeah, we can fast forward, but we're not going to fast forward all the way. So probably a year or 2 later, I actually come into Hammerhead. I actually find them on the pegs. This time I have the money, I do the right thing, and I purchase them. Thank God I end up with that figure. Now, let's fast forward to the reason why I'm telling this story. It's when I turned 50, 5 years ago. We had a birthday party. My wife threw it for me. And at the birthday party, my brother is there, and he gives me this giant box. I open it up, and it's a pair of jeans. And I'm like, okay, my brother bought me a pair of jeans. And there's a note on the top of the jeans, and it says, "Look in the crotch." I'm like, look in the crotch? Well, just so you know, my brother's a big Funko guy. So I'm rummaging through the crotch on this pair of jeans, and what do I pop out? Hammerhead. He was making light of a bad situation all those years ago. It was probably 35 years to the day, well, not to the day, but 35 years that I had stolen Hammerhead and gotten busted for it. At that point, my dad is like in the dark. So it comes out, yes, all those years ago I did this. We talk about, how it was kept from him because I didn't want a butt kicking. What could he do? I was 50 years old. He wasn't going to take me behind the woodshed and give me a spanking. I'd gotten enough of those when I was a kid. So, yeah. So it came to light. Let's talk about it. So I did end up getting the Hammerhead years later. And I mean, it was on a Jedi card back. And look, the proof of purchase is still there for the Anakin. Now, if you look at all my card backs from that have Return of the Jedi on them, all those proof of purchases are gone. They've been removed. So this shows you how late in the run that I grabbed this figure. This was probably purchased at KB in probably 85, 86. One final thing. If you're looking for any silver lining in this whole story, and there's not really one that should be had, but there is. Here's the sand person that I picked up that day, right? This is the sand trooper, the sand person, Tusken Raider that I got that day. It was the hollow tubes. Now, we'll eventually do a video about vintage variations, and that's coming. So be on the lookout for that. But that Tusken Raider was a hollow tubes Tusken Raider. Mint. And anybody that knows anything about that figure, now it's probably $300 to get that figure, even loose. My buddy George last year got one, and I think he paid a couple of $100 for it loose. So that was a smart decision that day to steal Hammerhead and not the Tusken Raider. I purchased this. They had to let me leave the store with it because I had paid for it. Thank God I bought this one and tried to steal this one. So let's wrap things up. What I did that day I'm not proud of, but it's another collecting story. Not a fond one, but another collecting story. So there you have it. Am I worthy of the medal? I don't think so. Sorry. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. You probably enjoyed it more than I enjoyed living it. I didn't exactly enjoy retelling it that much either. But, we all make mistakes when we're young. And, I took my punishment like a man. I stayed out of the store for a year. And I never stole another Star Wars figure again. So, lesson learned. So, even though I'm not the one that should be able to make this decision, I am going to make it because my buddy George did buy me the medal for my birthday, and it's my birthday today, so you know what? I'm going to wear it proudly. So, you know what? If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but I got to enjoy my medal. I got to enjoy my present, Am I a hero? No, but it's a pretty cool gift. So, thanks, George. I'm going to wrap things up. Want to thank everybody for the continued support of the channel. I've picked up a ton of new subscribers, and for that I'm very thankful. Like I always say, I've got plenty of knowledge. I've got plenty of stories that I want to share with you, the collecting community. And in order to keep doing that, I need you to hit the subscribe button so I can keep bringing you that valuable Star Wars content. Want to thank everybody for watching. We will see you on the next video. Have a great day, and may the Force be with you. No droids were shoplifted during the filming of this video. Thanks for watching.